Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of News Review. I am Trishaka Sharma and we are introducing a super exciting series called A Doctor's Diary, where we invite inspirational medicos to come and share their memorable moments and experiences with us. Today we have Miss Muskan who is pursuing MBBS. She also owns a YouTube channel and an Instagram account which has more than 5,000 followers. But the introduction doesn't end here as she's also a mental health advocate. So, hello, welcome.
Hi,
How are you?
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you
I'm
for
good. How
joining
are
us.
you?
I'm good. So let's start. My first question is that my sister is a doctor too. So before she could even complete her graduation, we would just send her prescriptions from our doctors to get her approval. Do you also experience these things in your family?
Yes, actually, quite recently, one of my cousin, he has hypothyroidism. So that is the
Oh,
thyroid gland is working way more. So because of that, he's having some heart problems. So the doctor suggested him to get the laser treatment done. After that, my aunt called me up and she asked me what to do. And I was like, what did the doctor say? She's like, the doctor said, get this laser thing done. And I was like, then why are you asking me? She's like, I'm getting a second opinion. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not a doctor.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think it's very common, in families and all, where there's only first generation doctors. It's very
yeah.
common there. Because in my family also, I'm the only doctor.
So,
Yeah.
I see that you have posted video lectures on Instagram and also on your YouTube channel, and you post
Yes.
question of the day as well. So, how do you choose these questions?
Yes.
You pick up the questions from your followers?
No, no, no. Actually, right now the pattern of next and the need is completely changing. It's from one word questions to becoming case based. And
Okay.
case based learning actually helps you to apply your mind. You can apply the knowledge you've learned. So that's why I tend to post some clinical cases, which helps me also whatever
Yeah,
I've learned, and also like to for my followers also so that it's helpful. These are either made by me or they're either from platforms like USMLE RX or Kaplan. Because mostly
okay.
these USMLE based websites, they have more clinical cases because they have been into clinical things since the start. And now Indian PG entrances also are changing to clinical things.
Yeah.
That's why.
Talking about PG, we have seen that you are a mental health advocate. So, do you see yourself pursuing psychology, as a subject in your post graduation?
Actually, I would love to, but the only thing is, I don't think I'll do justice to it. Because,
Why?
to be a psychiatrist, you have to, you really have to have a strong mind because listening to others' problems take a toll on you also. So I just don't feel personally I can do justice. So if someone is, sharing something, I think there are high chances that I'll start crying with that person. Like I'm really emotional and really empathetic. So that is why I am not sure that this is the right field for me. But yes, I will continue advocating for mental health and speaking about it and sharing stories and helping people out. But I don't think I can hear everyone's problem and also deal with mine.
Well, we have seen your posts on Instagram, and we think that you're doing a great job. You
Thank
have,
you. But it generally takes a lot of toll on you.
yeah, a lot of research also.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like even in my high school and 11th and 12th, I had taken psychology, and fortunately, my psychology was great. And in CBSE schedule, we had to make one case study. So even that
Yeah.
case study, I had done it meticulously, and I got like 100 in psychology. So that is why I was
Nice.
more inclined on taking psychology if I didn't get MBBS UG. But so I've always been inclined towards psychology. Except for that, I think except for my course books, I read a lot of books. I follow a lot of psychologists on Instagram. Like there's Dr. Reese who makes a lot of talks about mental health subjects and maybe imposter syndrome, depression, how to deal with it. There's also
Okay.
someone known as the anxiety healer, she's a psychologist. And there's
Okay.
also a psychologist known by the name Priti Bai Sanya. She's a PhD scholar and she's right now a psychologist in Mumbai. She's practicing in Mumbai. So I mean, seeing their post, interacting with them, that also, like, helps a lot in gaining. Obviously, there are so many mental health advocates online,
Yeah.
which you who you can talk to, and we share experiences, and so that genuinely helps. Connecting with people helps.
You have covered a variety of topics, from medicine to surgery. So, which one is your personally favorite? We've seen books of surgery and
I
medicine on
think,
Instagram.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think medicine is my favorite because it makes sense. You can like put together the blocks, and then like you can say that, okay, this thing, this clinical manifestation is because of something. Whereas in surgery, I personally don't like surgery because it's like something is wrong and you need to fix it, so it's just something which you do.
Yeah, actually,
So I'm more of a medicine person.
yeah, a surgery actually reminded me of a dissection hall. I've heard that
Yeah.
the experience of dissection hall is one of the most memorable moments. So, would you like to share your experience? How was
I
it?
mean,
Like,
I I was scared, I was nervous, and I mean, there was so many emotions I was feeling at that time that I can't even like explain. It's one of the best feeling because it's like the first step in your medical college. So it's like
yeah,
from now on, it's only gonna be uphill. So you start by seeing bodies, and then
yes,
you go on learning about their physiology and then diseases. So it's like, wow, so this is what I'm going to do for the next 4.5 years, and then I'm going to apply this in my internship. But yeah, there's obviously, like, in the starting, there's a peculiar smell, and it takes a lot of time to get used to it. And we had a lot, like, we had really strict rules in our dissection hall.
yeah.
So we made sure, like, we ate before. We had a canteen right opposite our dissection hall. So we used to eat and then go inside, so that we didn't end up fainting. But I think that's the best experience you can have,
Okay, yeah, that's
because
nice.
in reality, seeing all the muscles,
Yeah, it
seeing
can
their
be scary.
insertion, and seeing the actual course, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, for a non-medical, it's more of scary. And
yes,
even my mom, I show her any picture, she's like, yuck, what are you showing me? But I think for a medical, that's the exciting part.
yeah. Moving forward to our next question, we have seen practitioners talking about the effect of this pandemic on the mental health of people. So, what do you think is going to be an effect of this pandemic on the mental health of young people, and what needs to be done according to you?
See, I think there has been obviously a spike in the anxiety levels, stress
Yeah,
levels, and people are experiencing more depression and all. When people are just locked in a house for more than 5 months or 6 months, I think now it's been like
yeah,
7 or 8 months.
yes,
So that tension is there, and it's so sad that people who are, you know, they are being abused physically.
yes.
So if there's domestic
Domestic
violence, so
violence
people
also.
cannot even reach out to someone. That there are a lot of suicide cases also. And recently, like, NEET UG was also conducted. So
Yes,
the amount of stress that was there on students, you don't know who lost their someone due to COVID. And on top of that, they have the pressure of their exam, and they have the pressure of, I mean, obviously after 12th, NEET UG is the career determining exam which you have. And after that, you have NEET PG and so on and so forth. So
yeah,
there was this news also that one girl committed suicide even before giving NEET UG.
yes,
And she wrote in her letter that, I'm sorry that I don't think I'll do well. And
yeah,
so that's the kind of pressure that's there. And it's just sad to see how they are not getting the right kind of support, they are not reaching out. I think the problem is that there is so much stigma about mental health that people
mental
don't
health,
reach
yes,
out. So even if they think that yeah, they are so stressed, and if they feel they're depressed, they won't actually think that they're depressed. They'll be like, maybe this is a phase, it'll pass by. And when that phase doesn't pass by, it just starts to just trouble them so much that they just want to end. They just
yeah.
want to give up. It's important that, it's so
We
important
talk,
to
yeah,
destigmatize mental health.
to talk about it?
Yeah, I feel if people don't talk, if people who are suffering, if they won't talk about it, how would people who have not experienced this ever realize how it? So when I started talking about it, and when I told my mom about it, obviously the first time I told her it was not a good experience. She was like, what is this? Where is this coming from? So I think after, I think 1 or 2 months, I again told her, like, sit down, just keep your mind open, and then just hear me out. Then I told her everything, and then she tried to understand, and she kept on asking me questions. Oh, if this is how you feel, why don't you just go talk to your friends? If this is how you feel, why don't you go do something which you like? So obviously, if a normal person, they'll think it's a phase, maybe you're not talking to your friends, maybe this is why you're isolating yourself, this is why you're stressed and all. So they don't understand it, and till the time we tell them how it feels, I don't think they will understand it.
Okay,
So
so
it's
I
so
guess,
important to communicate. It's
yeah, sharing is the key.
Yeah, sharing is the key, and checking up on people. There's no harm in calling. Everyone's in in lockdown. Everyone's at home. There's no harm in just checking up on people. Just call them up, video call them, and check up how you're feeling. That's just how much it takes.
So then, how do you handle the pressure? Because you are handling your YouTube channel, you are also managing your Instagram account, and then your studies. We know that medicos have to study like a lot. So then, how do you ensure self-discipline?
See, I think if you check my YouTube right now, I don't remember the last time I posted a video. I think it's been a long time because I started studying for my finals.
Okay.
And for Instagram and like in general, the thing is that I started this during lockdown. So I can't
Yeah.
tell you what I'll do or how I manage it during exams because I haven't done it yet. But I can tell you how I'm planning to do it and how I'm doing it right now because I've started studying. So I have a time limit for Instagram. I don't like let it exceed that. So probably like it's mostly 1.5 hours, and maybe on the weekend it exceeds to 2 hours if I start replying to everyone. And I log in only at specific time. So in the morning I log in to just upload the question of the day, and then probably like I'll do a study session. Then probably in the afternoon before lunch, I'll upload a post or something if I have it for that day. And then after lunch, if I'm studying, after studying, when I take a break, I'll log in, maybe check some DMs, and I log off. And then probably before sleeping, I'll check it. So
Okay.
I
So
mean,
you
I know
plan these things
it's
really
really
well.
hard.
No, you plan
Yeah,
these
it's
things
really
really
hard.
well.
It's so addictive. It's genuinely very addictive.
Especially when you are doing so well on Instagram.
Yeah, like there's so many friends of mine who have gone into this followers loop that they have genuinely ruined their exams because of it, because they are online on Instagram even before exams.
Okay.
So it's so important to like ensure that you're not just getting in that hole.
Okay, so then what made you start a YouTube channel, where you post video lectures and
Actually,
all?
I started posting video lectures on my Instagram, and someone suggested to me that why don't you try it, just posting the same thing on YouTube. And then I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not doing some extra work. So I
Okay.
think that's how I started it. But I started making video lectures because one of the great way of learning is just, saying it out loud and
Yeah.
trying to make yourself understand it. Yeah. So that's how I started it. So the topics of which I had my notes, or I had made my notes, so I started teaching that to my own self, and I just recorded the screen. So that way it was simultaneously I was teaching myself, and I thought if it's going to help someone else, then why not? There's no harm. So that's how
Okay.
I started it. And then right now I'm not able to post it because I'm not studying from my notes, because now they're like so many subjects, so many books. So I'm sticking to books right now because there's no time to make notes.
So do you also read a lot of books related to mental health, except your course books to gain more knowledge about it?
Yeah, like see, mental health. There are a lot of self-help books. I mostly read books related to psychology, which has something related to psychology, understanding the mind. Like there's this book, this one. I don't know if you've heard it, The Power of Subconscious Mind by
Yes,
Dr.
yes, yes.
Joseph.
I've heard about
And
it. Yeah.
s-
Is it
yeah,
helpful?
and
Yeah.
then book by it's really helpful. Like if you genuinely understand the depth of it and you apply it in your life, I find it really helpful. And that's why I think ever since my 11th standard, ever since I took psychology, I've just been reading psychology related books. I haven't touched a fiction book. It's been ages. And there's this book also named Grit by Angela Duckworth. So
Okay.
like I read self-help books more, I would say. I would not term it as mental health related. But yeah, they have a lot of insight. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So there's this podcast, The Inner Feelings by Bianca. She's a writer in Thought Catalog on Instagram, and they have a website. So listening to them and how they overcame maybe a breakup, how they're dealing with their life when they're feeling overwhelmed or something like that. So that generally helps me. There are a lot of podcasts out there. Even the anxiety healer who's on Instagram, she has started a podcast. So if you listen to those podcasts, you learn a lot of things.
Well, all these suggestions would be really helpful for our viewers as well. So, we also have some questions from our followers that they would like to ask.
Yes.
These are related to mental health, of course. So, someone has asked, how do you deal with failure and fear of failure? Uh, the fear of disappointing your parents and parents stressing us out. So,
Yes, that's my biggest fear, I would say. And I mean, see, in the end, you need to realize that whatever you do, give your best. And that's what my father says, that when I'm worrying about my exam and I tell him, like, right before the exam, he'll call me up and he'll be like, "Are you done?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, there's so many chapters left." And he'll be like, "Okay." And he'll calmly tell me, "Just do the syllabus." And I'm like, "How are you so calm?" And then he's like, "Because you only have what you do in your hands. You don't have like you can't decide what the outcome's going to be.
yeah,
You don't know how the examiner is going to mark you. You don't know what the questions are going to be. So
you can
all you
only
can
do
do
hard
is
work, hard
yeah.
work.
So I work by that principle now, that I'm just like, I'll do my best. So even if I don't get some good marks, or if I think I don't reach that level of expectation, but still in the end I did my best.
Yeah.
So and then like in the end I learn from it. I see where I made the mistake.
Okay, so the next question is related to this only. Someone has asked that what do you do when you feel useless and depressed, like nothing is going well in your life? So what should we do then?
If you have a pet, please play with your pet, because that's the
It's
best
the
stress
best
buster.
therapy. Yeah,
Second, yes. Second, exercise. Like if you genuinely sweat it out,
yeah,
it's really therapeutic. I feel so better after playing or after running. So exercise is great. Watch a movie. Just if you don't feel like doing anything, if you just want to be in your bed, just lay down, watch some Netflix, and don't blame yourself for it. Don't keep on blaming yourself that, oh, this is not a great day, oh, I couldn't do this, or anything like that. It's okay if you're having a bad day. There's nothing wrong in having a bad day. Just do what you think would help you, be it watching a movie, be it just being alone reading a book. I at times end up canceling all my plans and just staying in my room and just reading a book, and that just helps. Or order good food from outside.
yeah. So I think music can be helpful also, just like
Yes,
a
music is
workout.
for some
Yeah.
people, yeah.
Someone has also asked about your thoughts on loneliness and depression, the feeling of guilt and lack of confidence.
Memory down the lane.
Oh,
I would say
yeah.
that it's bad. I mean, I'm not going to say that everyone understands, and it's not the same for everyone. So when I was in depression, the things I felt is not the same by XYZ person who's depressed right
Yeah.
now. So everyone has different things. There's something called high functional depression also. So obviously there are different types. What I'd like to say is that when I was depressed, I was just going to my classes because obviously I had this fear that if I don't go, my attendance would be cut. If my attendance is cut, I can't give my exams in the end. And that would just disappoint my parents more. I used to go for classes, but then after that, after the classes, like we had classes 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So
Okay.
after 5, I didn't do anything. And there were like so many days my friends used to come to my room and they used to literally pull me from out from my bed and they're like, let's go, we're going out to eat dinner. And I'm like, no, I don't feel like.
Yeah.
And I think it went on for a while, but I'm so thankful that one of my friend made me go to a therapist and made me reach out.
Yeah.
So I think that is also very, very helpful, and that has helped me a lot. I don't think if I didn't reach out, I don't know where I would be. So I would say if you're feeling lonely, if you think that maybe it's just a phase and it might pass, or if you think it's nothing, there's no harm in just reaching out. Maybe you can just take one session, two sessions from a psychologist or a psychiatrist. There's no harm. But
Yeah.
if you don't reach out and you might be depressed, that would be harmful in the long run.
Yeah. So I guess we
And
need to
talk
remove the
to people.
stigma first. Yeah. So that we can talk and go to the
Yeah.
therapist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So these were all the questions from our followers, and um we'll be ending this session here. It was really nice having you. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you.
time. We absolutely loved having you, and we are also looking forward to see you again.
Same.
Okay, so stay tuned for more such exciting videos, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you.